D, MP, Minister of Tourism, Mr. Paul Andrew Norman, Mrs. Hilary Rochester McIntosh, Chef Gary Carr, Miss Sanjay Sandcroft, the Principal, Dr. Maureen Nelson, who is unable to join us today, Vice Principal Academics, Mrs. Carol Walters, Dean and Associate Dean of the Faculty of Hospitality, Tourism and Creative Studies, Ms. Jennifer Thompson and Dr. Gillian McFarlane Osman, Mrs. Sonia Dr. Small, Lecturer, faculty members, my fellow batchmates, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to our Hospitality and Tourism Seminar 2020. My name is Courtney Bent and I will be your MC for today. It is indeed a pleasure to be in your company to commence our annual Hospitality and Tourism Seminar. Our theme today is tourism, defining our roles as stakeholders. The purpose of this seminar is for us, students of the Hospitality, Tourism and Creative Studies faculty, to plan, organize, and execute a seminar to highlight the roles of both the private and the public sector. Tourism is the biggest industry in the world, and as Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. Please stand with me as we sing our national anthem.
Teach us true respect for all, stern response to duty's call. Strengthen us the weak to cherish, give us vision lest we perish. Knowledge send us, Heavenly Father, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love.
Thank you. You may be seated. No program should be started without giving praise to the Almighty, especially during these troubled times. So I invite Lisa Leslie to carry out the devotional exercise.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Most righteous and eternal Father God, we thank you for yet another wonderful day. Thank you, God, that we are all alive, we are well, we are clothed in our right minds, and we are able to be a part of such a program as this one. God, as the proceedings go forward, Lord, I ask that you will allow each and every one of us to receive something from this seminar. Whether it's new knowledge, give us something fresh, Lord. Open our eyes to something that we didn't know. God, and continue to cover us and keep us as the day goes. In Jesus' name I pray and say, Amen. So, The thought for today is one that a lot of persons are familiar with, and a lot of persons would have probably heard it in infant school, basic school. And that thought is, if at first you don't succeed, try, and try again. And I just want to implore each and every person, especially us going into the tourism field as year one students, don't allow anything to stop us, whether it's a hard assignment or maybe a lecturer we are not so comfortable with, but just press on and pursue and persevere. We can all make it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, for that heartfelt prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, as stated before, the purpose of this seminar is for us, students of the Hospitality, Tourism and Creative Studies faculty, to plan, organize, and execute a seminar to highlight the roles of both the private and public sector in the tourism industry. A stakeholder is a person, group, or organization involved with a project in one way or another. Today, tourism is considered Jamaica's second most important earner of foreign exchange. And although we are experiencing a fall-off with this pandemic, we, as stakeholders, are optimistic of a major turnaround in visitor arrivals and earnings in 2021. The private sector is made up of various commercial establishments. These establishments have to, in turn, work with the government to develop plans for suitable and profitable growth. In travel and tourism, the public sector plays a vital role in making persons more aware of publicity with the business environment. It also helps to promote destination and provides a range of services to encourage tourism development. What is our role, you may ask? Our role is to figure out where we stand in this development process and how best we are able to continue to contribute to it in a positive manner. No longer will we sit aside and allow various opportunities to pass by, but instead we should remember we are that group, we are that organization, you are that person, and Jamaica is our ever revolutionizing project. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I now invite our Vice Principal Academics, Mrs. Carol Walters, to bring greetings on behalf of the principal and the institution. Please join me in welcoming her.
Madam Moderator, Miss Courtney Bent, I must acknowledge as well our Honorable Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, who is this year's keynote speaker, Dean Jennifer Thompson, Associate Dean Dr. Gillian Osman, our specially invited guest, Mr. Paul Norman, who I understand is on his way, Mrs. Hilary Rochester McIntosh, Chef Gary Carr, Miss Sanjay Sancroft, the lecturer who is responsible for this class and therefore this particular assignment, Mrs. Sonia Dr. Small, other lecturers of the Faculty of Hospitality, Tourism and Creative Studies, and I understand they are joining us virtually. Students, members of the Ventura Photo and Video Services team, I greet you well this afternoon. It is indeed my pleasure to be here representing our principal, Dr. Maureen Nelson, who is unavoidably absent, but I'm also bringing you greetings on my own behalf as a very proud former dean of the Faculty of Hospitality, Tourism and Creative Studies. As I often say, and I know this is going viral today, but as I often say, if you cut me, you will still find purple blood running through me, even though I serve the college in another capacity now. I bring you greetings on this illustrious occasion, this very special seminar, which is being hosted by the first-year hospitality and tourism students. The Montego Bay Community College is blessed by significant partnerships in the hospitality industry, which ably facilitates our mission of providing excellent multidisciplinary tertiary level instructions in Western Jamaica and beyond. Want to thank all our stakeholders for their interest in tertiary education, and in particular, hospitality and tourism training and development in our country. I want to congratulate Dr. Small and the student for putting on what obviously is a high-level program here today. As the former dean of the faculty, I am particularly pleased that this year you were able to get, as your guest speaker, our extremely hard-working Minister of Tourism. Gone are the days when Honorable Bartlett used to just pop in on us because he had that kind of time. But we know how hard he works for Jamaica to make sure that we all survive and do so well. His work is a very difficult work, as was alluded to earlier. Jamaica depends heavily on that tourism dollar. So we are very happy that Minister Bartlett will be speaking with us today. Perhaps we need to say thanks to COVID, because if it wasn't for COVID, we know that right now he would have been very busy, because this is actually the start of the tourism season. And he would have, knowing him, he would have been very busy dotting every I and crossing every T. So we're happy that he's able to speak with us, but we look forward to hosting him here at the college sometime in the near future. The theme of this seminar regarding the significant role of stakeholders is apt. Tourism is an industry of diverse stakeholders with far-reaching implications for everyone. It is therefore imperative that all stakeholders embrace the mandate of the promotion of sustainable development of tourism in order to significantly contribute to the economic transformation of our country, Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, these are indeed unprecedented times. The COVID-19 pandemic has revolutionized our existence and has placed in sharp focus the fragility of the hospitality and tourism industry. Hotels and attractions have closed their doors, and the economic impact on the sector has been truly catastrophic. Despite the disastrous effect of the pandemic, it provides the world with opportunities to demonstrate resilience in the face of adversity. In addition, our planet is plagued by issues of climate change and its attendant implications for our lifestyles and businesses. To put it simply, ladies and gentlemen, tourism is all of us business, and we are all key stakeholders in this industry, because our economic survival depends on it here in Jamaica and across the Caribbean and in so many countries across the world. So I want to say to you that as I thought about what to say in my greeting to you, my dear students, more and more I want to think that our role right now should be a protective role. We need to protect, first of all, each other. We need to protect ourselves in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, because that is how we will stop the spread of this deadly virus. And in doing so, we will be protecting our industry and our economy and ultimately our country. Secondly, we must of necessity protect our environment. Without the environment, there is no tourism. And as I said before, our planet is seriously plagued by issues of climate change. We must change our lifestyle. And we must try in every way to significantly decrease our carbon footprints across the world. The global community has been challenged by COVID-19. Yet there is the view that the potential negative effects of climate change is far more devastating than COVID-19. Throughout this week, I have been engaged in a conference virtually, a conference that is hosted by the Canadian Bureau of International Education out of Ottawa, Canada. And in one of the plenary sessions, one speaker by the name of Stephen Smith, he made the point that if we do not do something about climate change and do it now, climate change will eclipse the worst of COVID-19. It is that serious. So understand me well when I say we need to play that protective role as stakeholders in this very important tourism industry. These significant world events should be utilized as catalysts for transformation. Consequently, all stakeholders in the sector must rise to the occasion and adopt an ethos of creativity coupled with a passion for keeping the industry alive and work assiduously to rebuild and rebrand. As industry personnel, we need to reflect on our performance or we run the risk of losing potential gains from the industry. So young people, I want you to start the conversation. You may be in the first year of your studies here at the Montego Bay Community College. I encourage all of you to become members of the Tourism Action Club. And through that club, make your voices be heard, wide and far, across Jamaica. This is a call for action. Action to protect ourselves and each other from COVID-19, and action to protect our environment. Jamaica is depending on all of us. This seminar is therefore enabling important discourse on the varied innovative methods that can be employed to recharge our sector and to improve productivity, creativity, and of course, our entrepreneurial skills. Our investment in the human capital will further yield sustainable economic development and create a future that we will be proud of. I congratulate you on putting on this very, very important seminar. I want to wish you very well as you continue this afternoon in bringing to us. I see some exciting presentations and some cultural pieces that will be shared. And I know it is part of your coursework and you will receive a grade. I say, in the hearing of the lecturer, may you all get the grades you deserve. And I know that is going to be the best grade. And we know what that best grade is, don't we? I thank you all for listening to me, and I greet you all well on behalf of the Board of Management and the principal of the Montego Bay Community College. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Walters. I now invite my fellow batchmates, Nicolai Clark and Janae Stewart, for our first item of the day.
sing, yeah. I lift up my eyes to the hills, I'm blessed, oh man. Ooh, ooh, yeah. As far as I can, with my two hands in the air, as far as I can. As far as I can. Ooh.
Thank you. I now ask that you join me in welcoming Annalise Anderson for the introduction of our first speaker. Minister Bartlett, panelists, vice principal, lecturers, and colleagues, good afternoon. Our first speaker will be Mr. Paul Norman. But who is this gentleman? To his wife, Shilda, he is her devoted husband for 33 years and a proud father to their two children, St. Paul and Sheena. A very civic-minded individual, their native to the Breadbasket Parish of St. Elizabeth, is a graduate of the St. Elizabeth Technical High School. He is a preacher of the gospel, and the naming of his son, St. Paul, says a lot about him. For many years, he has served in various capacities at the Calvary Tabernacle United Pentecostal Church in St. Anne's Bay. He is a regular participant in workshops hosted by the St. Anne's Bay Probation Officer for teens with challenges, and is well known for his willingness to participate in devotional exercises. Mr. Norman has pastored the Kingdom Lighthouse Apostolic Members Church, located at Circle B Farm in St. Anne's. His enjoyment of singing made him a member of the Calvary Tabernacle United Pentecostal Church, Mass Choir, and the Men's Choir for many years. Of particular interest to us, Mr. Norman is the Sales and Marketing Manager of Dolphin Cove Limited and the 2019 participant of the JHTA Tourism Employee of the Year Award, and also a regional winner of the Jamaica Tourist Board Tourism Excellence Award. Thank you. He received national recognition this year when he was awarded the Badge of Honor for services in community development. It is not surprising that he lives by the motto, "Your attitude determines your altitude." Please help me welcome Mr. Paul Norman to make his presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you. Yes. Just to bring to your attention, defining our roles as stakeholders. You notice I came without book nor pen, so I'll be speaking from my heart. I'll be giving you some of my experiences in a nutshell. When I came from St. Elizabeth to St. Anne, I was very shy, reserved, withdrawn. And when I realized that to make my mark in society, I had to put that aside and step forward. I was employed to Tropical Tours in 1987 as a dispatcher, and I was determined that I would make my mark right there. So young people, when you get into a job, make your mark. Unfortunately, a few months after I began, Gilbert passed through Jamaica. and that affected tourism badly. Now, while I was at Tropical Tours, I didn't know that at Tourwise, and then Tourwise was a powerful company, if not the most powerful then. And I didn't know that they really admired the way I spoke to them when they called. Young people, courtesy is important in every aspect of life. And even as she mentioned the fact that I'm married for 33 years, when you train yourself to be courteous, you'll even take it to as far as your marriage. However, I called Tourwise, spoke to the operations manager. It was Mr. Newton Oulas then. He's now the general manager at Jamaica Tours. So I said, Mr. Oulas, business is down at Tropical and I was asked to be off duties. He said, what are you doing on the telephone? Come to your desk right here. And I said, when should I start? He said, come here tomorrow morning at 9. So the next morning I was there with my resume and my application form. And he just took it out of my hand and sat me at a desk and started telling me what to do. And then after that person came and said, oh, another one that will soon be gone. That's what they said, that desk is so high pressure that nobody can stay there. And that was my challenge. Young people, when you get a job, no matter how you hear it has been a challenge to others, you decide that you're going to make your mark. One of the concepts that I hold, when others are sitting, you must be standing. When others are standing, you must be outstanding. When others dare to be outstanding, by then you are the standard by which they are judged. So I went to Tourwise as a dispatcher, and after a while, everybody everywhere called me. When Mr. Oulas was not in office, people just knew that he could speak to me. And it so ended up that he moved on to Jamaica Tours and I had to take over his chair. And the person said, well, you can't fit Mr. Oulas' shoes, But then I had grasped so much of his professional attitude. Whenever you go to a place to work, remember that you must connect with those who have the standard that you're aspiring to. And so I was just a reflection of the standard that he maintained over the years. And so when I finally left Tourwise and went to Sandals, I spent 10 years at Tourwise. I went to Sandals. I said, this is where I've always wanted to be, because by speaking with the staff at Sandals, I'm always saying, I'd love to work at this place, and so I applied. But the position I applied for in management was not available because someone from within had gotten the position. They said, there's a tour desk position, but I'm saying, I want to be a manager and have to start all over again. I said, okay, I accepted the position. When I got the job, didn't know about selling tours. First, guest came up to me. By then, the girl that should be teaching me, she was busy frustrating in weddings, so I had to be there trying to work it out. Young people learn to think on your feet. You will not always be spoon-fed. And so the first guest came up to me and said, tell me about the zip line. Now, my first year and I'm not accustomed to what's happening. I said, one moment, please. And I went to behind the wall. I said, call Chuck, I said, describe the zip line. And I said, tell me about your hospital. And quickly they told me in a nutshell. So I went back to the guest like I was sitting at this desk my first morning, I said, tell you what, the zip line is the closest thing to flying. And I said, when you're on that zip line, even your husband, you're gonna see his gentler side today. And I turned to the man and said, and for her, you're gonna hear her Celine Dion voice when she gets on that zip line. And all of a sudden, everybody around wanted to sign up, and I was saying, when we got to Dolphin Cove, because I love selling dolphins from then, And I said to the gentleman, I said, when the dolphin pushes you up in the air when you do the royal swim, when you come down in that water, you're gonna turn to that dolphin and you're gonna say, you raise me up! And everybody wanted to, at the end of the day, the manager came, the sales manager said, can I see the total of her sales today? And I showed her. She said, what? I So I thought it wasn't good. I said, tell you what, it's my first day. Remember, I'm supposed to be on training. She said, we have never seen this. And the next thing, David Roper from SRI calling, my general manager calling, HR calling, hotel. So I said, if today is my first day, and it has made an impact and I haven't learned the job yet. So I took home all those brochures and I came up with different lines. And 3 months I got an award, and every award ceremony I got an award, and including an offer for promotion to sales manager at one of the resorts. So I said to them, I want to do this for a year. And at the end of the year, they said, come on, Resort in the Grill, need a sales manager, and we're sending you. And so when it was time for me to have a send-off, that's when a lot of the staff realized that I was not a manager. That's when they were telling me, when we're not doing anything right, I was here, come, we used to run, you know. I said, I was a line staff. When you go anywhere to work, make a difference. If anyone else is behaving unprofessionally, you maintain a standard. Remember I said to you, when others are sitting, you must be standing. And when others are standing, you must be outstanding. And when others dare to be outstanding, by then, you are the standard by which they are judged. And after that, I enjoy receiving awards so much that even I'm thinking of getting somewhere to put awards in my home now, because the section where it's at. So schools ask me to come and speak. They acknowledge me. Companies ask me to come and speak to their staff. And when they see the difference, they acknowledge me. And then it got to the point now that the probation office in St. Anne's Bay asked me to come and speak to students who are having issues with the law and issues at home and all that. And I'm thinking, how am I going to switch from marketing to doing this? Anyway, I said yes. And I transferred all the principles I practiced at work to dealing with these kids who have run afoul of the law. And after that, when they asked me to come and speak to men who are on parole, I took the same concept. And when I realized the response, that when I'm walking on the road and people are saying, oh, you were speaking to my child and it impacted me so much. So one of my motto is, aspire to inspire before you expire. So when people come to me on the street and say, you came and talked to my child and it impacted on me more than the very child. And so I started just pursuing a psychology degree, because I say if I can be helping people so much through issues, and I never received any guidance and counseling training, and so I contacted a university and I signed up for their psychology course. When I got the assignments, how would you handle that situation? I just remember that situation that I dealt with and wrote it. And every assignment that I've gotten so far, 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5, or 14 out of 15. Just by the principles that I've embraced through life. So young people, defining our roles as stakeholders. Remember, when you walk into that corporate environment, you're gonna define your role. When people hear your name, they must not wonder who that is. When I became sales manager at one of the Sanders Resort and I went to Unique Vacations in Miami to do my presentation, well, in tourism, they called me Andrew, which is my middle name. At Tropical Tours, they started calling me by my middle name and it stuck. But it's really Paul Andrew Norman. And when I went to Unique Vacations, everybody knew my name. Make your mark, young people. When you walk on the road, persons must say, oh, I remember when I used to work with you and so. Like for example, there are persons in the industry now that are general managers and big head of companies that they started out so small and they felt so insignificant. And I sat them down and I was a line staff then myself. And I said, listen, you're here too long, it's time to grow. When I was at Beaches Grand Sport, it is now Sanders Ochi. It came from being Siboney. When I went there, staff was there for many years and I said to them, I'm just here 3 months and I'm being offered a promotion. And you've been here from Siboney days. Come on, cross-train. And so staff started cross-train. So some of them are in management position on the cruise ships, in management positions at hotels. Some of them are working at as receptionists at hotels, in reservations and so forth. So when you go to work, don't only focus on you, build those around you. God bless you. Any questions you'd like to ask? You may go right ahead.
Okay, what would you say has been your biggest challenge in the field of tourism?
My biggest challenge in the field of tourism was to get past the part of me that I was used to, reserved, withdrawn. So my biggest challenge was to get past that when I realized that the hospitality field, which I wanted to enter, needed people who are dynamic, who are go-getters, who are confident, brave, bold, strong, outgoing. So even if you're reserved and quiet, if the hospitality field is the field which you desire, if you want to be on the front line, just tell yourself, I can.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Excuse me, do you believe that you're reaching the full potential at this point?
Not at all, because even the new role I'm in now as a pastor for Kingdom Lighthouse Ministries, I never saw myself becoming a pastor. One pastor saw me one day and addressed me as pastor. I said, no, I'm almost 60. I'm just 3 years away from being 60 to become a pastor at this stage. No. And then now I had a dream, and then I said, God, if the building comes like you show me in the dream, then I'll go forward because I want to impact lives. A lady called me and said, sir, I went to a businessman who has a place locked up for many years. It was a nightclub, and I said to him, allow you to have worship services here. She said, I've been on your Zoom and I'm really impacted. I said, what? I said, you know that I saw that in a dream and you fulfilled the dream? So now I've taken my potential to another level where I can impact lives at another level. And as I said before, aspire to inspire before you expire. So while I exhale and inhale, I've got to keep going. Yes, I'd like to hear from one of the young men this time. Okay. Or tell me, how do you see yourself in the corporate world? Have you had a vision of yourself in the corporate world?
Well, I know that I want to be, probably like next 5 to 6 years, I want to be working into becoming an executive chef. So I know that I have to start working hard, opening doors, especially in classes. But what you just said, it kind of relates to me in a way because I seem confident, but I'm not all that confident.
Yeah.
So I have to try and work out of it.
Just keep working at it. And I said to young people a lot that are not confident, I said, sometimes go before your mirror and say, how are you? Practice how you're going to approach people by, use your mirror and look, practice to maintain eye contact using your mirror. It works. There are other young persons that I've told that and it works for them. There was a time when I didn't get to the real confident level yet, and I was asked to speak many years ago. And when I drove up to the place in the parking lot, all of a sudden it's like I was losing it. And I pulled down my rearview mirror and I said, hey Paul, you can do it! And when I walked out of that car, I felt like I could rule the world. The best person to inspire you is you. Learn to respect yourself, appreciate yourself and your gifts and your talents, and always find something about you to build on. Yes. One more young man. How do you see yourself in the corporate environment?
Sir, I'm not eager to say 5 years from now, sir, but in the near future, I'd like to be an executive chef or a high managerial role in either a restaurant or a hotel.
Yes. And let me tell you something. You have all these aspirations. You see, the way you conduct yourself, even in this institution, is vital. Because there are persons who progressed more speedily than others. And you'd be surprised to know that you go someplace and ask for the human resources manager and your teammate walks out. So even the way you project yourself in this institution among your peers is vital. And I know many persons go to places to work and their classmates see them and there's a problem, and right away just the body language, the HR manager or the front office manager or whoever know that this one is going to be a problem and it affects them. So remember, it's not only to be your best at the interview, it's as you walk through life, as you interact with others, you make your mark. So thank you, have a good afternoon, and continue to aspire to inspire before you expire. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Norman. And we will aspire to inspire before we expire. We will leave our mark. For the introduction of our second speaker, I invite Emmanuelis.
Minister Bartlett, panelists, vice principal, lecturers, colleagues, pleasant afternoon. Our next presenter is the food safety manager at Round Hill Hotel and Villas. She started at Round Hill 10 years ago as marketing assistant and was transferred 6 months later to food and beverage as administrative assistant, and was later promoted to food safety manager, a position she has occupied for the last 7 years. A certified instructor and registered proctor for the National Restaurant Association Serve Safe Food Protection Manager course and exam. She is the proud parent of 2 adult children and native of St. Elizabeth, married to a Hanoverian, a Christian and a member of the Lucy United Church. Help me welcome Mrs. Hilary Rochester McIntosh.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hilary Rochester McIntosh. I am Food Safety Manager at the Round Hill Hotel and Villas. And today I'm here to talk to you about food safety in the culinary industry. The globalization of the world's food supply has made food safety a critical issue. Food retailers want to know that the food they purchase to sell to their customers is safe and wholesome. Subsequently, buyers and retailers demand guarantees that their suppliers can meet this customer demand for safe food. Not only do many buyers require HACCP or HACCP, but many have taken an additional step in requiring a HACCP-based food safety management system, which includes specific prerequisite programs and a food safety plan based on the 7 HACCP principles. You may be wondering, what is HACCP? HACCP, or HACCP, is an acronym for Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points, which is a system of identifying hazards in the production of food and implementing control measures to prevent, eliminate, or reduce significant hazards to an acceptable level. This system was developed in the 1960s and it has become a worldwide standard for food safety. Before developing a food safety program that applies the principles of HACCP, the types of hazard that cause foodborne diseases, illnesses, or injuries must be understood. Even when the HACCP team is familiar with the illnesses caused by microbiological and chemical contamination and is aware of the potential injury from glass, wire, and other dangerous physical objects, control can be difficult. The primary objective of a HACCP program is to reliably produce safe food. HACCP focuses on identifying and controlling significant food hazards. Food hazards may be biological, chemical, or physical. Biological food hazards may exist from the production of toxic substances by plants and animals, but the more common hazards result from microorganisms and or their toxins. It is important that the HACCP team considers all types of hazards. According to the CDC, that's the Center for Disease Control, foods most frequently involved in foodborne disease outbreaks are produce. Food of animal origin, example, chicken, beef, eggs, pork, shellfish, and other dairy products are also sources of illness. Investigations of foodborne disease outbreaks often identify 5 common risk factors that result in foodborne illnesses. And these are food from unsafe sources, improper holding of food, that is abusing the time and temperature at which food is held, inadequate cooking of food, poor personal hygiene, or contaminated equipment, or rather the prevention of contamination. There are 7 principles of HACCP, and I will briefly touch on each principle for you. Principle 1 is to conduct a hazard analysis. A hazard analysis is the process of identifying significant risks relative to a food product or manufacturing process. It takes into consideration the hazards associated with the intended end use of the product. A complete and thorough hazard analysis is critical to the success of the HACCP plan, as it serves as the basis for the rest of the HACCP activities. It's principle 1. Now we look at principle 2, identifying the critical control points. And this is where the fun starts. Principle 2 consists of identifying the CCPs in the process. To establish this, the team must understand the difference between a control point, a CP, and a CCP, which is a critical control point. A CP is any step in your process where control can be applied to a potential hazard. There may be dozens of CCP within a food preparation process. Dozens of CPs, within a food preparation process. A CCP is a point in the preparation or processing of food where steps must be taken to reduce or eliminate a significant food safety hazard. Again, CPs are points where you can exercise control, and CCPs are points where you must exercise control to prevent, eliminate, or reduce significant hazards to acceptable levels. Now, principle 3 is to establish your critical limits. Each CCP, each critical control point, represents a point in the food process where control must be applied to prevent, eliminate, or reduce a significant hazard to an acceptable level. Each CCP will have one or more control measures associated with each significant hazard. A control must be applied with the goal in mind, and the goal is to prevent, eliminate, or reduce a significant hazard to an acceptable level. For each critical control point, a critical limit must be defined. A critical limit is a measurement or observation that separates what is acceptable from what is not acceptable. This critical limit cannot be violated if the hazard is to be controlled at that CCP. When a deviation from a critical limit occurs, the hazard is no longer controlled. When a critical limit is violated, a corrective action must be instituted. And this takes us to our principle 4, establishing monitoring procedure. You have to establish monitoring procedures in order for your HACCP plan to work. It is not sufficient to just identify a significant hazard, identifying CCPs, and to set critical limits. The system must also be monitored to ensure its effectiveness. From a HACCP perspective, monitoring is a planned sequence of observations or measurements to assess whether a CCP is under control. Monitoring, when done correctly, ensures that the HACCP system is functioning properly. Each critical limit must be monitored. Thus, each hazard or each control measure or each CCP or critical limit combination requires a monitoring procedure. If you don't monitor it, then it really don't make sense. Principle 5. In Principle 5, you need to establish corrective actions. At this point, the HACCP team has been convened and has defined the scope of the HACCP plan. Products and processes have been defined and significant hazards identified. All CCPs have been documented, critical limits have been established for each. Monitoring techniques and schedules for the critical limits have been defined. Now a corrective action procedure must be outlined to describe the action to be taken when a critical limit is violated. Predefined corrective actions must be taken when a critical limit is violated. Can't say that often enough. Corrective actions determine the disposition of the non-conforming product. Correct the cause of the non-conformance and must be documented. Corrective action procedures must be determined and documented for each critical limit at each critical control point. I hope I'm making sense, ladies and gentlemen. If I'm not, then you can direct questions to me through Mrs. Dr. Small. HACCP system verification involves examining all documentation and records for accuracy, completion, and implementation. Verification. Yes. Verification. The sixth HACCP principle requires that procedures be established to ensure that HACCP system is effective. The overall purpose of the HACCP plan is to control significant food safety hazards. The function of verification is to provide a degree of confidence that the plan is based on solid scientific principles, is adequate to control the hazard associated with the product and process, and is being followed as written. Then we come on to the seventh principle of record keeping. Principle 7 focuses on record keeping. Once the HACCP team has completed the process of documenting processes and products, analyzing and identifying hazards, establishing CCPs and limits, monitoring these points and establishing corrective actions when non-conformance arises, and implementing procedures for verification and validating the plan. It is necessary to establish records and procedures for record keeping. If we don't have record keeping, then the whole HACCP program is invalid. So record keeping is a very necessary and integral part of the HACCP program. Prerequisite programs such as pest control, supplier specifications, facilities management and sanitation, etc. must be documented and verification records included as part of the HACCP-based food safety system. Once the HACCP system is implemented, all CCP-related processing records become part of the record-keeping system. All monitoring and corrective action records are also included as part of this system. Now, I've gone through HACCP and I've told you what a HACCP program is. Some of it in layman's terms, some not, but basically it is controlling food and ensuring that food is safe from harvest to consumption. Ensuring that food is stored at correct temperatures to keep it safe. Ensuring that food does not become contaminated because of somebody's careless practice, and ensuring that food is properly cooked to the proper temperatures before being served to a guest or before being sold to a consumer. And this process, it's a lot of work, but you have different people at each step of the way to monitor that step of the way and to ensure that food is kept safe throughout. And if at some point food becomes compromised, the integrity of the food becomes compromised, then the best thing is to just throw out that food and not serve it. But you should also record that this was disposed of. I think I've basically covered what a food safety program is. If you, as I said earlier, if you have any questions, you may direct them to me through Mrs. Dr. Small. Thank you for having me today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hilary Rochester.
And we thank her
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hilary Rochester.
For the introduction of our third speaker, I welcome Breonna Roberts.
Minister Bartlett, panelists, vice principal, lecturer, and colleague, good afternoon. Chef Gary is a well-experienced chef who hails from the parish of Hanover. He is married with 3 children. His dedication and passion for a culinary field is evident. Even his son has enrolled at this institution, following his footsteps with the same enthusiasm. Chef Kerr has worked at several establishments over the last 20 years. The Grand Palladium Resort seems to be his favorite spot where he has spent the last 12 years. He is very passionate about cooking and about the hospitality industry and is always willing to share his time, hence his presence here today. Can you please stand and help me welcome Chef Gary?
You may be seated. Thank you. First, let me thank Dr. Small for her invitation, for initiating this grand move, or her involvement. The vice principal, she left. All concerned, all who are here as well, we thank you. And you can give yourself a round of applause for being here and making this happen. Cameraman, IT, very good. This is a grand opportunity for me to stand here. I didn't know that I would be here for this. I started out as a groundsman at the first hotel in Negril. It was a hotel by the name of Negril Beach Club. You all don't know it. You probably weren't born as yet, you know. And my job was to rake the beach, wash the beach chairs, and make sure that area is clean. I was about maybe 15 years old. It was my first job. I didn't know that I was heading into the kitchen. However, voila. So I was at work one day when I smelled something coming from the kitchen. Smells very good, like somebody was baking. And my curiosity, along with my nose, drew me in the direction where the smell was coming from. I knocked on the kitchen door and I saw a fat man come out. He said, "What you want now, sir?" I said, "Boy, I smell something I want to have in there, beer." He said, "Boy, we do some muffin. You want one?" And he gave me a muffin. I never saw a muffin before. First time having a muffin. Let me tell you something. It was mouth-watering. It was delicious. It just melted in my mouth. It was hot, just coming out of the oven. And I said, from that point, that I must find my way in the kitchen. Anyway, time has it. I went back to school. Then, while I was at school, the Grand Leader Hotel needed some people to work because of a strike. Let me tell you something. In the hotel industry, never move for a strike. In the tourist and hospitality business, never ever step off your duty to serve. Always find another way to resolve issues and problems. It is not a good move and it's not healthy for this business. It isn't. Okay, so they came to the school where I was and they grabbed a couple of us because we were about to graduate, and they took us and I find myself doing some dishwashing. I was working at the staff canteen doing the dishwashing. Well, when I was at the staff canteen, it was a grand opportunity for me because I said, listen, this is where I will make my mark, as our dear Mr. Norman said before. And I had the opportunity to work with him as well at the Beaches Sandy Bay Hotel in Negril further on years to come. However, I was there washing dishes, making sure that I always wash up and finish everything that I have to do. quickly because I had to see what the chef was doing. What the chef was what? Was doing. Because this was my keen interest. I've not gone to school for chef. I went to school for I did an agricultural course. I did agricultural science. That was my direction that I was going in. But fate had it, I was going to go to the kitchen. However, time had it and I grew. I went to the kitchen and I was doing some dishwashing at the staff cafeteria. Then they bring me to the main kitchen where I said, yes, this is it. I saw a chef, Chef Robert Green. You guys can look him up. He's a very, very good chef. He also helped the grand leader to win the Apple Awards in 1998. Okay, Travel Awards. That was a big award that we won. However, he gave me, I saw him and I was working at the pot wash area. And I made sure I finished everything quickly. And I went around and he was cutting up some onions and I said, let me cut the onions, man. He said, you sure say you want to cut the onions? I said, yes, man. I said, I want to be a chef. And he said, okay. And he gave me a knife. And I started cutting onions. And my boss came and saw me, the steward and manager. I said, why you do this? And I said, boy, there's some onion, but the pot wash area clean. He said, go back by your area. Soon as he left, I went back to cutting more onions. And then I started to put onions in the pot. And then I started to help to make sauces. And they were teaching me. Robert Green was teaching me what he knew. And so I said I would have to do a course at the Art Institute of Jamaica, Sandy Bay area to be exact, to ensure that I have a certificate in this area. However, I didn't stop. He said, you know what, on Mondays we have a beach party and we don't have any chef for it. The chef got fired because he was drinking. And I said, he said, you think you can do it? It's just burgers and hot dogs. And I said, yes, I can do it. And I took it on. I was the one that was responsible for setting up the beach. I had to put up the tent top table, skirting it, do everything. And then roll out my trolley. I stocked it with burger buns, hot dogs, burger meats, onions, lettuce, everything that goes with a burger. I had to prep everything. My first job opportunity. And Mr. Norman said earlier that it is our attitude that dictates our altitude. In the food prep industry, in the kitchen, and as I heard the young man said, he wants to become a chef. If you realize, we wear a hat. And this hat does not just cover our heads. This hat, we have to pull a lot of tricks out of it. A lot of what? Tricks out of it. It's called culinary arts. It means that you have to have a creative mind. It means that you have to be passionate. It means that you have to be completely, entirely devoted to this job. To becoming a chef, an executive chef, as you say, it's not only just about cooking. Let me tell you some of the things a chef, especially in this rank, has to do. He has to be a counselor. One, he has to have conflict resolution management strategies planned in his head, because he's going to deal with a lot of people that has issues. He has to be most importantly, a doctor. And remember, a chef is the first doctor that you meet. He is responsible for the food that is going into your stomach. He can kill you or he can build you. He can make you fat or he can make you small. A chef is also responsible for the diets of every single person that comes in contact with his meal or him or her. In the hospitality business and the tourist industry business, you also have to be quick in thinking. I got a guest came to me while I was working at the Grand Palladium, and she had a daughter that had nut allergy, dairy allergy, wheat, barley, rye allergy, flour, gluten allergy. And her daughter wanted a pancake. What? A pancake? Oh my God. Oh, she also has egg allergy. Now the ingredients in a pancake, I'm presuming you all know. How are you going to get a pancake, ma'am? I couldn't tell my guest no. Her daughter was standing there looking up at the chef while mommy was talking to him so enthusiastically. Okay. No problem, ma'am. I'll be right back. How am I going to make a pancake with no eggs, no flour? She can't have milk, which is milk, egg, flour, baking powder, nutmeg, cinnamon. Those are the ingredients for a pancake. I say, I got it. I rushed into the storeroom, take up some cornmeal, took it to the blender, dry it, blend it, get it as thin as possible, poured it out. Went to the pastry shop, got me a coconut milk, some cornstarch for the binding agent, a little bit of baking powder, cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla, and of course I had to twist it because the cornmeal would just not taste right like that. I add a little bit of banana, ripe banana, and I mixed it up, no eggs, and I made 3 pancakes on the grill instantly. Never did it before. But the situation and the circumstances makes me think quickly. We are in the hospitality business. We are here to serve. Now, I bring the pancake out, gave it to her. They enjoyed it. I got $150 for it, 3 pancakes. Why I say that, it's about your attitude in this industry. If you think that you don't have the correct attitude, do not venture in this business. Being a chef means that you have to be multi-talented. You're gonna have your responsibilities and others' responsibilities. An executive chef has the biggest job on the property. He is responsible for every single person that is on that property that is going to eat. That is going to do what? The lady before this, she spoke a little bit on HACCP. HACCP is one of the most critical part of your responsibility as food prep persons. The CCP, I'm going to enlighten you a little bit, means that it is the critical control point. It's the point where you have the decision to correct the food before it reaches the table. Because once it goes to the table, it goes in onto the fork and inside somebody's digestive system. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish I had more time, but the chef industry is a beautiful one. It can take you anywhere in this world. I've gone to several places overseas and in Jamaica. I've worked at almost all the big hotels. Grand Leader, Hedonism 2, Sandals, Beaches, Sandy Bay, Beaches, Breezes, Montego Bay, and of course, the Grand Palladium Hotel, which is a monster. Young men, ladies, your passion has to be directed to this work. If not, you're going to turn back. All right? Any question for the chef? I am currently a sous chef. A sous chef is next to the executive sous chef and the executive chef. So, for how long? How long it took for me to reach there? I got there in about 12 years. I got there in about 12 years. But that has to do with a lot of schooling and paying attention. The most important thing is that you guys get your schooling done. But the biggest part of this is your experience. Go out, go into the kitchen. When you're home, cook for mommy, create something for daddy. Just do something with the food. But make sure that it is safe for consumption. Remember, I told you, you are the first doctor. You are the what? The first doctor. Okay? Have a good day. Any more question?
Different color jackets depends on where you are in the kitchen.
Yes, it varies just like that. It depends. In the executive and the sous chef's area, you're in the black. You wear a checkered and a white jacket for the staff, for the line staff. When you're a cook 1, cook 2, cook 3, and then as team leader, then a supervisor, CDP, chef de partie, and then you can go up to a junior sous chef, and then you go up to an executive sous chef, a sous chef, then an executive sous chef, and then an executive chef. And the executive chef can earn up to $12,000 US per month. $12,000 US per month, and that comes with housing, transportation, and you can also live on property. Okay? All right? So it is not a cheap job, but it's also a huge responsibility. It's very, very difficult, and it's a high stress job. But if you can pull through, your passion will allow you to pull through. Anything that you're passionate about feels like you're working for just an hour. But if you're not passionate about it, it seems like you're gonna be working for a year. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me. God bless you.
Thank you, Chef Carr. We will try our best to achieve our goals. We will work hard. We will be great doctors. I am now pleased to invite Tavon Walker as he introduces our guest speaker.
Minister Bartlett, panelists, vice principal, lecturers, and colleagues, good afternoon. It is with great pleasure that,
My apologies. I invite Janae Stewart for the introduction of our fourth speaker.
Minister Bartlett, panelists, vice principal, lecturers, and colleagues, good afternoon. Our fourth speaker will be Miss Sanjay Sandcroft. Miss Sanjay Sandcroft, who hails from the Breadbasket Parish of St. Elizabeth, a Hampton Old Girl, is a past student of our noble institution, the Montego Bay Community College, I Create Institute, and also the University of Brasilia. Miss Sandcroft did not study hospitality nor tourism, but spent her entire working years in this industry. Ms. Sandcroft possesses a bachelor's degree in human resource management and an associate degree in natural sciences. She also boasts a certificate from the University of Brasilia in Portuguese language and literature, adding to her skill of being multilingual, speaking Portuguese, French, Spanish, and also Patois. And English as well, I'm sorry. In most recent years, she has garnered certificates in social media marketing and digital marketing. Ms. Sandcroft started in this industry at a very tender age at the Aegis Aviation Services as a customer service agent to acting supervisor, where she spent over 9 years. She started out at Thai Flora Deluxe in December 2016 as a wedding and events designer and is presently the digital content manager. She captivated the trust of her directors to the extent where she has represented the organization at various events, namely trade shows locally and abroad. Ms. Sandcroft is very passionate about customer service and believes in executing whatever task she is assigned wholeheartedly, going above and beyond to get the job done and exceeding customer expectations. She enjoys social networking, marketing, and communications. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ms. Sanjay Sandcroft.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. As mentioned before, my name is Sanjay Sandcroft, and I'm here from Tyflora Lux. We're basically neighbors. We're right behind you there, behind the police station. All right, so let's get started. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing on the screen? All right, so what comes to mind when you hear Tyflora Lux? Anybody? Flowers, just flowers. So we impact tourism with flowers. Decorations, okay. All right. So as a premier destination wedding and event planning and management company based in Jamaica, we pride ourselves in crafting customized and distinct events for our clients, both local and international. From conceptualization and supplier selection to briefing and day of organization, Tyflora Lux is a full-service event planning and management business. Having coordinated and managed numerous memorable destination weddings and events, our talented and experienced team together with our Lux partners will ensure each event is designed and executed with the level of dedication, passion, and creative energy that is at the heart of our award-winning service. To add to what you said and what you said, our clients have access to our ever-growing inventory of tents, chairs, dance floors, structures. We do lighting. We have an array of tables, bars, linens, something like what we have on the table now. And in terms of linen, we do tablecloth, table runner. We do draping, we do napkins, anything that you need, cushion, you need it, we'll make it. We also do decorative glassware and accessories. We have been designing, planning, and executing special events that require high levels of expertise and creativity. We always aim to create memorable events that surpass all our clients' expectations. Aside from suggesting floral varieties and designs, our professionals can offer helpful suggestions on theme decor, lighting, and draping. Alright, so here it says, in a world of changing styles, our wedding professionals and consultants continue to set trends by attending wedding and design seminars. We are always up to date with all international industry trends, fashion trends, and current interior trends, as all of these elements help us to be innovative and create fresh and cutting-edge design concepts for our clients, especially our international clients. We are a proud, dedicated, and locally owned business. Dr. Paulette Tychon Hussman and husband Sasha Hussman started this business almost 20 years ago, filling and dominating this niche market. Whether you're planning an intimate garden wedding for two or a grand ballroom affair with hundreds of guests, our extraordinary floral designs will reflect your personal style and leave a lasting impression on clients and your guests. We operate island-wide, which gives us an advantage over most of our competitors. We currently have 6 locations in 4 cities, which includes our head office in Freeport. We have a store over by Fairview. We're in Dingrel, Ocho Rios, and Kingston as well. All right, so how does Tyflora contribute to the tourism sector in Jamaica? So year after year, Jamaica tops many lists as it relates to destination weddings. So according to the Knot.com, US largest source of wedding news and inspiration, Jamaica is now placed number 2. Even though we're in a pandemic, we're placed number 2 on the top destination wedding venues in the world. On numerous other lists, Jamaica is repeated as an ideal location for destination weddings. And as the largest floral and decor company locally, we play a vital role in executing the plethora of these destination weddings that happens daily. Tyflora services approximately 80% of all the major hotels island-wide. On a slow day, we will execute approximately 12 weddings. On a busy day, we can do up to 30 weddings, and that's island-wide. Wedding executions are as small as a bouquet and a boutonniere, and it can go as far as us planning, designing, decorating, and doing a full production of an event for over 500 or 1,000 guests. Alright, so here we have the meat of the matter. How do we impact tourism? Answering your question here. And we're defining our roles as stakeholders in the tourism industry. Alright, so tile floor, we help in filling hotel rooms. How would we? Can you guess how tile floor will help to fill a hotel room? How can a decorating company help to fill a hotel room? Can anybody guess? No? Because of the flowers. Just the flowers. Alright, so we have clients who, by booking their events with us, whether it be a small or a large event with us, then they're going to want somewhere to stay, to come and have that event. So now, moving to the other point where we are one of the first points of contact for some of these clients. So being that first point of contact, we help to sell brand Jamaica. So not only do we have to sell ourselves as a company in that, yes, we can execute this grand affair, making you feel like you're in that first world country, but when you're not having your event, because the event does not last for 24 hours, so we can then help to sell the different properties, the different hotels, the different attractions that they can do on their time off to ensure that Jamaica is a whole package. All right? We serve as a partial catalyst for urban renewal and for increasing the infrastructure and the tourism capacity of the destination, which is Jamaica. So the increase in these groups coming, whether it be a corporate group or a wedding group, coming to the island and having their events here, this is a catalyst because it then alerts our government agencies or government officials to either build or maintain or instruct our infrastructures here so that we can leave a positive impact on our visitors in terms of safety, security, and beautification. You know, we have that elegant corridor starting from, I believe it starts from the airport. So you have that elegant corridor where, you know, we want to keep it pretty. We want to keep it, you know, beautified, so that when the guests, they land here at the airport, going to their different hotels, we want them to, yes, see Jamaica, but we don't want it to always be, you know, the raw Jamaica. But we also want to show that we can be that, but we can also be this as well. We increase profitability for hotels and other key players. This is reiterating the point of us helping to fill the hotels. So we help the hotels and other key players such as craft vendors, tour operators, and attraction operators. So this goes back to filling hotels, which in turn increases their profits, and the tour operators and attraction operators and craft vendors get a piece of the pie when guests go off property to explore. We create great and picturesque memories that result in return tourists or guests. Executing our clients' visions with the help of our beautiful island as a backdrop, we create long-lasting memories that give birth to a lifelong return visitor. We decorate for local and international officials. We do decorations for JHTA, JTV, CARICOM, head of government meetings. For these televised or documented official meetings and conferences, you know, sometimes they need a little sprucing up, especially if they're going on TV. So, you know, we're always there to assist our government officials. We also provide florals to the cruise ships. Although there has been a hiatus due to COVID, we usually supply the cruise ship as they dock with flowers for their guests on board for special occasions and decorations. One of the most important, I'd say the second most important point right now today, because of our current climate, we adhere to COVID-19 protocols to ensure our staff and clients remain safe during this pandemic. This point is pretty self-explanatory. Guests want to feel safe when they're traveling during this very uncertain time. So it's now a great selling point for us to know that we understand that our guests and also ourselves, everybody who is involved, we need to protect ourselves, protect our clients in everything that we do on a day-to-day issue. COVID has forced us as a company to be more creative. You have to be more creative in how we design, how we execute our events. We always have to keep that in mind now until it leaves. Hopefully it will leave soon. But our biggest point on how we contribute to tourism is we provide jobs. Our positions range from florists, landscapers, drapers, electricians, carpenters, tailors, seamstresses, sales and marketing teams, delivery drivers, execution and breakdown teams, warehouse staff, accounting team, logistic team, handyman, and of course our award-winning team of directors. This pandemic, though it has been rough in our industry, but we're very grateful to still be getting business from our valued partners that we do have. Alright, so this is the end of my presentation. Just gonna show a few photos of some of the events that we have done in the most recent times. Can you tell if it's real or it's fake bougainvillea? This is a seating chart, so this is where persons will go to see what table they have been assigned. And this would have been the reception area for that wedding. And here we have a very unique, where we have the menu actually printed on the napkin. So, you know, you can use it, wipe your hand, wipe your face, but it can also be a keepsake for you, the guest. We did this October done by Choco. All the furniture that you're seeing there on the sand, those are ours. And we did this at Hyatt. And this is the Trident Castle in Portland. And here we have a reggae themed event. Alright, thanks for your attention. Do you guys have any questions for me? Sure. That's a very multifaceted question because that depends on a lot of things. When persons ask what is the cost, it depends on what you want. What kind of tablecloth do you want? What kind of tables do you want? The tables do you want, do they need a tablecloth? Is it wooden? Is it acrylic? How many persons are you catering to? What kind of chairs do you want? So it depends on a lot of things. It depends on your location. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on your taste. It depends on what kind of flowers do you want. Some flowers are obviously more expensive than some. Are you willing to substitute, or you definitely want that expensive flowers? So, you know, we do free consultation. So after having conversations with our clients and our brides, we get a little more comfortable, we get to know their vision, and after having this conversation, going through everything that is a, you know, definite must, then we know where we can shave off, where we can add, things like that, and we do cater to different person's budget. So it's not all the fancy stuff. We do cater to all sorts of clients. Do you have another question?
Do you have like any packages like that you guys do?
A lot of companies have packages, and we don't think that everybody is cookie cutter, not everybody is the same. So what we pride ourselves in is customization. So we might have a package with something that you don't want, but because it's the package, you have to get it. If you go to Burger King and let's say they did not make it possible for you to substitute with the onion rings, and you go and you buy a Whopper and it comes with fries, but you really want the onion ring. But if you want the onion ring, you're going to have to pay for the onion ring separately. So that puts you at a disadvantage, because at the end of the day, you're kind of paying more. So what we tend to do is we customize the package to you as an individual. So each person, it is different, because yes, you might want a red wedding and somebody else had a red wedding, but you might have different things that work better for you that did not work for that bride. Anybody else? Thank you.
I have to agree with my classmate. That was a lovely presentation. Thank you, Ms. Sandcroft. It's good to know that you beautify our country, but you also provide various job opportunities. Again, sorry for the mix-up. At this time, I welcome Tavon Walker as he introduces our guest speaker.
Minister Bartlett, panelists, vice principal, lecturers, and colleagues, good afternoon. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you a man of great caliber. In 2007, when he was first appointed in his portfolio, and over the many years, this man has not only proven himself to be the best minister to ever sit in this portfolio, and has also become a great asset to our country and the Caribbean at large. He has been recognized for his wide range of expertise and accomplishment in tourism and the political arena. There are a lot of great things I could stand here and speak about this man, but I will not take away his time. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you our guest speaker, the Honorable Edmund Bartlett, CD, MP, and Minister of Tourism.
Firstly, I want to express my own appreciation to the faculty and leadership of the Montego Bay Community College, and with specific reference to the hospitality and tourism faculty. I recall getting a first call from Dr. Gillian McFarlane Osman, and then of course Dr. Sonia, Dr. Small became the mainstay of all of this. I'd love to express my own appreciation to them for enabling this interaction with you, the students in particular, this afternoon. So let me start then by commending the students and faculty of the hospitality team, of course your tourism and creative studies, for hosting this annual hospitality. There is no better way to learn than through the exchange of ideas and the deepening of discourse, which is particularly important now as we seek a sustainable reset of tourism amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Jamaica's tourism industry is at a critical juncture, and the steady hand of government leadership will largely determine whether it thrives or falters. The truth is, we cannot afford for tourism to fail, and with good reason. Like many countries across the globe, the Jamaican economy relies heavily on tourism. It is our bread and butter. To give you some context then, which underscores the importance of the global and domestic tourism industries, I will share some statistics. Firstly, a total of 1.5 billion international tourists arrived last year, in fact in 2019 in particular, and that represented a 4% increase over the previous year. Some 8.9 trillion US dollars were spent by international visitors, and it represented 10.3% of global GDP. In the process, 330 million jobs were created across the world, and indeed, in the process, indicated that 1 in 10 of all the workers of the world in 2019 were involved in tourism. So here at home, we welcome some 4.3 million visitors. The sector earned 3.7 billion US dollars and contributed 9.5% of the nation's GDP. 50% then of the foreign exchange that we earn came from tourism, and the industry generated 354,000 jobs directly, indirectly, and induced. And I want to just spend half a second on indirect, direct, and induced so you understand. The direct means that they are working in the hotels directly or in elements that relate immediately to tourism services. Indirect has to do with related services like attractions and transportation, and induced is that which is from agriculture, manufacturing, and other services. So, the tourism industry has traditionally been a strong pillar of economic growth and development in Jamaica, mainly because of the valuable investment it brings to our shores and the economic linkages and diversification the sector promotes within the broader community. As government, we are the facilitators of tourism development. We at the Ministry of Tourism and its agencies ensure that the sector's strategy for tourism is directly aligned to the supportive and indeed supports the greater national economic growth and development mandate. We take the vision, policies, and strategic plans of the tourism industry and to make them all a reality. It's very important that we understand this, that it is a combination of vision, policy, and strategic plans that make the industry come together and the reality we see come to fruition. So importantly then, we provide the infrastructure and mobilize stakeholders to create a tourism product that is safe, attractive to visitors, and economically viable. For the government, tourism development has never been solely about visitor arrivals. It is about laying the foundation for a more equitable, sustainable, and inclusive tourism sector that benefits all Jamaicans. This is why in 2016, I established the 5x5x5 growth targets, which is to have 5 million visitors, to earn $5 billion, and to increase our jobs from 125,000 then, to increase the jobs to 125,000, which we actually surpassed in 2019, and to have 15,000 new hotel rooms by 2021. Then, to meet these targets, we put in place 5 pillars of tourism growth to foster growth and encourage investment in the sector. The first, of course, is tapping into new markets and developing new products, promoting investment, building new partnerships, and developing our human capital. While the pandemic has thrown these targets off track now, even though we had surpassed a number of them before, it has forced us to rethink our growth strategy, and this may be a good thing, as it allows us to reposition the tourism sector for significant growth. So we are turning strategy into reality. Through the Tourism Linkages Network, a division of the Tourism Enhancement Fund, we've been reaping success in our efforts to strengthen the relationship between tourism and other sectors, such as manufacturing, agriculture, the creative industries, through various innovative initiatives like Christmas in July and speed networking. Likewise, our expanded linkage framework of 5 networks in particular, sports and entertainment, shopping, knowledge, health and wellness, and gastronomy, is helping to diversify our tourism offerings, providing business opportunities and generating improvement in the competitiveness of our tourism product. The highly successful Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival and Carnival in Jamaica are examples of these initiatives. Specifically, it has also allowed us to provide much needed support to and encourage investment in the small and medium tourism enterprises, SMTE, as I have dubbed them. And this sector, operated by farmers, craft vendors, the ground transportation providers, and other small business operators, generates significantly to the authenticity and quality of the Jamaica tourism product. I just want to indicate to you that, in fact, 80% of global tourism is driven by small and medium enterprises. The unfortunate reality in all of this is that less than 20% of the return from tourism go to that 80%. And that was a concern that I had, and in all of my global discussions, I put that forward as a level of inequity that we had to rebalance. Tourism had that duty to rebalance that inequity and to enable a larger flow of the resources of tourism to that 80% of small enterprises that are all across the world. So we understand that access to long-term financing, and that financing was in fact one of the inhibitors, is one of the most significant impediments to improving, modernizing, or expanding operations. And this is why, we established the Tourism Enhancement Fund Exim Bank Loan Facility, which provided a critical financial lifeline to the small and medium tourism enterprises. So through a $1 billion financial commitment from TEF, operators in the SMTE sector can access from a minimum of $5 million up to $25 million at 4.5% interest rates for 5 years. And that was a groundbreaking initiative, especially that the average lending rate from the commercial bank was in excess of 8%. The excellent response to the SMTEs, to the loan facility, is proof that it is welcomed and well needed, and will allow these businesses to better respond to the demand of the tourism sector. So as a result of these deliberate initiatives to reduce the leakage, and I wanted to underscore that word, of the tourism dollar by increasing, another word to underline, the linkages. Jamaica's retention is now at 40.8%. And perhaps I should just explain retention to you as students. What it means is that of the dollar that we earn, 40.8 cents of that stay in Jamaica, while 51.2% is used for foreign purchases, for imports, and to pay for foreign representations and so on. So that is an important point to note, because we're really coming from 30%. So we got a 36% increase in the short time that that I've been minister in the last 4 years, and that's a little piece of plug for me, right? But it is so, and that is to grow, because you have to get beyond that 50%. And just to let you know by way of added information, that at 40.8%, Jamaica has the highest retention rate of the dollar of the English-speaking Caribbean. And the only country, in fact, in the entire Latin America and South America that is ahead of us is really Domrep, that has about a 50% retention. So we just wanted to know that we are on our way where that is concerned, but there's still much more to be done, because 50 cents is a lot that is still out there to stay, to come back and stay in Jamaica. And it will come back and stay if we are producing more agricultural goods that the industry needs, more manufactured goods that the industry needs, and that the technology that is used by the industry is generated essentially by our people, that we produce more authentic creative craft and cultural products that are consumed by the visitors. Then they come here, and when they leave, they could go back and say, yes, this is truly authentic Jamaican. It's something I can get nowhere else. So now, human capital development. It's a very important element of this whole strategy of building tourism. So as the sector continues to grow, there is a pressing need to meet the challenge of staffing the hospitality and tourism sector. And I know you know that because that's what you do at MBCC. So the Jamaica Center of Tourism Innovation, the JCTI, which I launched in 2017 as a training arm of the ministry, is on target to train now several thousand tourism workers over the next 5 years. And this is in collaboration with the local international partners, including the American Hotel and Lodging Institute, AHLEI as the designation is, the American Culinary Foundation, ACF, or Hard Trust NTA, Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, and of course the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association. And you know, in addition now, we have introduced 2 years hospitality and training management program, what we call the HTMP, in partnership with the Ministry of Youth and Information, to facilitate the certification of high school students in 38 schools across Jamaica. Now this is another groundbreaking activity because it's the first time in our history that tourism is a subject in the high schools, and particularly that it is a degree awarding program, so that the high school students who would be at grade 13, 12, I think 12 and 13 at that end, will now be able to graduate with an associate degree in customer service, as well as the HLEI certificate, making them ready for jobs so that they can enter into the tourism industry with stackable credentials. Very, very important. So in April this year, we made a substantial investment in the tourism sector with the launch of a free online training program for tourism workers affected by the negative impact of COVID-19. Over 10,000 persons registered for the 11 free online courses, which we had aimed to enhance the tourism workers' skill and to improve their qualification. But a point that you should note here, students, is that this was done as a direct response to the pandemic, that workers were laid off, some were sent on furlough, some in fact were kept working, but working 3 days a week, as the case might be. So we used the opportunity to sharpen their skills and to give them certification in critical areas. So it was a smart investment in staying resilient, which will pay handsome dividends when the tourism sector returns to normal. It is a demonstration of the importance of government's human capital development strategy. I want to say one little thing about that before I move on to enhancing our product, students, because the purpose of upscaling and the skill set and certifying the level of skill that you have is to make you able to achieve mobility in the workplace. Is to also give you portability in the industry. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you now can move from country to country with a certificate, with a qualification that enables you to be responded to with respect, because you're now not just a cook, but you are American Culinary Foundation cook, ACF behind your name, like some people have BSc behind their name. And that means respect. Just like how some people come with Michelin certificate as chefs. So you will have your ACF, and you can then go from place to place and work and earn money, and that's the portability. Though for mobility, it means you can get promotion. You will be able to move. But I want to say one more little thing about that, students, that is very important. The labor market arrangement for tourism today is still very informal. And tourism workers are by and large classified as casual. What this is doing is creating stackable credentials for you. so that you now can be classified. And if you are certified and classified, then you can be remunerated according to classification. And that will change the labor market arrangements in tourism in Jamaica. And this is very important. A lot of people quarrel about it and talk about contract work and so on. And we must abolish contract work. The only way you can abolish all of that is to train and certify the workers of the industry. And that's what we're doing. So now, we are enhancing our products. We are committed to putting in place the strategies, infrastructure, and services that support tourism growth. To this end, we are investing in infrastructure development, including the modernization and expansion of the 2 international airports. Some of you would have gone and seen the runway and so on being improved at Sangsters. Improvement to the road network and the expansion and development of the cruise ship piers. I think you saw some work here in Montego Bay, and Falmouth is continuing in that development. The Ministry of Tourism, through its agencies, the Tourism Enhancement Fund and the Tourism Development Company, TPDCO, continue to collaborate with the Port Authority of Jamaica, Urban Development Corporation, and other partners on major infrastructure in our towns and resort areas. And just to name a few, there is the Close Harbour Beach development here in St. James that you know about, and the squatter regularization in resort areas. Now, in Grange Pen, which is just a little out of Lilliput, we're doing a massive brownfield development. What does that mean? It means that we're going in, we're putting in water, we're putting in sewage, we're putting in roads, and that improve the electricity distribution there, so that the now squatters, yes, can become owners, and they can get their titles for a lot. Of course, they have to pay for it, but it gives them capital, it gives them wealth, and it enables them in time to be able to use that to convert into all sorts of other possibilities for loans and also for any improvement that they want to their business. So what they have is a collateralized asset that they can move forward with. So in Ocho Rios, we're doing the LED lighting and the entrance way to the town. We're designing other types of enhancement to the town of Ocho Rios. In Trelawney, in fact in Falmouth, the Hamden Wharf redevelopment is really characterized by the artisan village that we're building there. And the purpose of building that artisan village is for the artisans of Jamaica to be able to produce on spot. You know, it's a nice little Latin phrase called in situ, yes, meaning that on spot. So they can be producing on spot, so when the tourist comes from the ship and walks across with a design, he can leave the design with the artisan, and when they have gone all over to attractions, they come back ready to go on the ship. The executed piece is there, they take it with them, they pay the artisan whatever the price is that they offer. No haggling here. They pay the price, and they take that as a piece of Jamaica that they're taking back with them overseas. Also in that will be for merchandising, so we'll be able to have retail for our craft pieces and art and so on. And within it also will be entertainment, best of our music, best of our dancers, and at the same time, food, because you can't miss that lovely Jamaican cuisine in there. So that's what the Artisan Village is going to look like. It's the first of its kind to be done here in Jamaica, and later on we're going to do one in Montego Bay and do one in Ocho Rios as well. So, and finally, the TEF has a strong public beach upgrading program. We've done a number of them already, because we believe that the beach is the asset of the people and must be utilized by the people, and they must enjoy it. And whilst the visitor can come and have it access as well, beaches are for Jamaicans, and that's what our purpose is. All right? So in addition, plans are now on the way for our ministry to develop the parish of St. Thomas as Jamaica's newest tourist destination. The St. Thomas Destination Development and Management Plan, which identifies several projects that leverage the unique assets of the parish and offers a strategy for implementation between 20 and 2030, has now been completed. I actually tabled it in the House, and it is now ready for us to develop strategies and action from. The town of Negril too has also been identified for assessment because of ongoing destination management challenges, which put at risk the visitor's expectation of a safe, secure, and seamless experience. That plan is expected to be completed in, well, 2021. I probably will stretch that a little bit into 21-22 because of what COVID did. The government continues to work tirelessly, of course, to create an environment that attracts and fosters premium investment in our tourism sector. And you know, the good news is that despite the coronavirus pandemic, and I'm going to amend that a little because I did say somewhere 90, it was 90. I think we've lost one or so of that. So we are still, I would say, very much on target in terms of the number of rooms, additional rooms that we expect to come on stream between now and 2023. And the program for the Hard Rock Hotel in St. James is still on track, and the Green Island Princess development of 2,000 rooms, that is also still on track. And our development in Kingston and Port Royal, those are also still on track. And I want to say this one, we have a new design for a refurbished, repurposed, reimagined Devon House courtyard, because the house is a house, it's a national treasure, you can't do anything to that, but the courtyard is going to be converted into a gastronomy center. The designs are all done. It's going to cost us about $55 million, and we are going to start construction on it shortly. So, the show of confidence in Jamaica by investors has helped to boost our image as a leading tourist destination. In addition, these investments are creating job opportunities for Jamaicans and further fueling the expansion and diversification of our tourism product. Now, safety, security, and seamlessness underpin the sense of well-being of visitors crossing borders. And that's a principle that students, I want you to embrace. So it is a feeling that must pervade the traveler before they even leave their destination. They must feel that sense of confidence that when they go to your destination, everything is going to be all right. So therefore, it is the responsibility of Jamaica to ensure the well-being of visitors and deliver on the promise of an exceptional visitor experience that the Jamaica Tourist Board makes when they go out in the market. You know, they go and tell everybody that Jamaica is this wonderful place. Well, there must be no second guessing of that when the visitor comes. He must seize it, he must feel it, and he must experience it. So this is what we refer to as destination assurance. And it is that which keeps the visitor coming back. You know, we have a repeat business of 42%, which is great. And I just wanted to emphasize a little aspect of this destination assurance, students, that you need to really appreciate is that the confidence that a visitor must have that when they step off the plane and breathe, it's nice, clean, fresh air that they're breathing. That the environment around you is pure. That when they step off the plane and on the tarmac, it is not uneven and cause them to sprain their legs or their foot, as the case might be. It's when they go into the airport and they walk into the carousels and they go to take up their luggage, the system will not malfunction and snap on them. And then when they go through customs and go out, they're going to go into a transportation that is well appointed. That is, in the case of COVID, is COVID compliant. And that when they step in the car, it's going to be comfortable. But more importantly, they're going to have a driver in there who is well appointed for the job and who is doing, and is knowledgeable too, knows about the destination, knows about the country, so he can be engaging. It's also about when he drives on the road, that the road now, the surface of the road is not so uneven that the ride is bumpy. That when he goes around a corner, he knows the corner is coming because the signage is there and it's accurate. But worst of all, if there's an accident, he's secure in the fact that a trauma center is just down the road that he can go into with the doctors and good nurses and so on, well taken care of. And when he goes into the hotel and he wants a glass of water, he picks up that water, he drinks it with confidence that it will not provide any diarrheal issues. These are the elements that constitute destination assurance and more. So our destination assurance councils, we've set them up in 6 resort areas, and they have been working tirelessly to ensure the quality, standards and integrity of the Jamaica's tourism product, and that these are maintained as well as address any nagging issues concerning the state of affairs in our resort areas. So we spend a lot of money too on sprucing up the resort areas. You know, we have the elegant corridor here in Montego Bay that we spend a lot of time, and some of you see the kind of work we do on the western side of the city. That's part of building out that destination assurance as well. So destination assurance now has taken center stage in 2020 as travelers seek the reassurance of their health and well-being as the pandemic rages. So you can understand that one. That Jamaica is now the first out of the block with the resilient corridor. You know, remember that concept that we established, this piece of geography that runs from Negril along the highway all the way to Port Antonio, and all the areas on this, what we call the windward side or the seaside, where the beaches are, all the hotels and everything there. And we were able to create safety protocols to protect the tourism workers who work in that area, to protect our citizens, and of course the visitors who come to Jamaica. And that corridor now is being viewed not only as an example for the rest of the Caribbean, but as a reference point for most of the world of tourism to talk about a safe passage and a safe area, a safe zone where tourists and visitors and locals alike can move around fairly safely. So we will be adding another layer of safety to that with the introduction by year end of Jamaica Cares. Now, Jamaica Cares is a comprehensive health insurance and repatriation program for visitors to the island. We will be the first country in the world to have an end-to-end health security for visitors coming to its shores, which is particularly important now in the light of the COVID-19 pandemic. And this will make us even more COVID resilient and establish us as a top of the line destination to go in the world. I want to make a little point about that before I conclude, because I think it's very important for you students to understand what we're doing there. Now, tourism is the most resilient industry, but it is the most vulnerable. And we have had over time several disruptions that have caused tourism not to happen. And pandemics are among them. This one, you know, is the worst we have had in the history of, well, I can't say the history of the world, but certainly for the last 100 years. And everybody who is traveling now is concerned about the health safety and health security. They want to go to destinations that provide a health cover. And insurance companies don't normally offer insurance for pandemics. The risk is too great. So to find a situation where we can get that insurance marriage to create a security cover for visitors coming to destination was unique. And what it does is to take the risk and the cost of managing the COVID pandemic for visitors coming to your shores away from the destination and put it onto the tourism family. So that risk, that cost is shared by the millions of tourists who come by way of the insurance cover that they have. And what it means is that when they come, they don't have to worry either. If anything is wrong with them, without $1 in their hands, they can get the best treatment that is available. And if in fact the treatment doesn't work sufficiently to cure them, they can then be repatriated. That is to say, flown back to their country in another medical arrangement supplied by this insurance. So this is a unique one, and nobody has it so far. And you know, some people say they have a little something here and a little, but nothing is as complete as that. And this is Jamaica's answer. And this is not an innovation that Jamaica is borrowing. It's an innovation Jamaica is offering to the world, because we will be the first one in the world to do it. And if you want to clap that, you can clap it, you know. So In concluding then, this is by no means the exhaustive list of all the things that we're trying to do and to give you a better understanding of the government's role in creating an enabling and inclusive environment for successful tourism. And despite the challenges of the pandemic, I'm confident that our tourism sector is resilient enough to bounce back as it has done following previous crises. As tomorrow's tourism leaders, I urge you to share this confidence as we partner for a more inclusive and viable tourism sector. It was an honor and a real privilege to address you, and I wish you a very productive day and great success in your studies. And when you graduate, I really hope we will have all the space we can for you to come into the industry and to offer your skills and your services. God bless you.
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it, but we've got to fulfill the book. Now won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption song, redemption song.
Well done. Wow. Powerful. Absolutely.
So, Minister Bartlett, the honor has fallen to me to express thanks and gratitude on behalf of the principal, the Hospitality and Tourism and Creative Studies faculty of the Montego Bay Community College for being our keynote speaker at our hospitality seminar. Circumstances made it impossible for your delivery to have been face-to-face. But I hasten to assure you that this did not in any way detract from the very informative and inspiring impact of your message. We all knew that you would be the man for this moment, and in keeping with your well-earned reputation, you delivered with earnestness and passion and gave us much food for thought. Indeed, we feel indebted to you for making us feel better prepared to play our part in the ongoing development of the tourism industry, which is so dear to your heart. Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, yes, yes.
That was a wonderful presentation. I now invite Lisa Leslie for a special item of the day.
When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Oh, when times
waters. I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay me down. Sail on, silver girl, sail on by. Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine when you need a friend, and the pain is all around like a bridge over troubled waters. I will ease your mind like a bridge over troubled waters. I will ease your mind like a bridge over troubled waters. I will ease your mind like a bridge over troubled waters. I will ease your mind.
Thank you, Lisa. That was wonderful. And it seems we don't have, we not only have upcoming managers and chefs among us, but also singers. At this time, I invite Emmanuel Wallace and Chef Carr for a special presentation.
Chef Kerr, on behalf of the Faculty of Hospitality, Tourism and Creative Studies, we would like to say a great thanks for your informative presentation, and we would also like to give you this token of appreciation, just to say thanks for you being here today and giving us information. We will take your information and use it wisely.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure for me to be here. And thank you again, Dr. Small.
I invite Denise Stewart and Mr. Norman.
Mr. Norman, on behalf of the Faculty of Hospitality, Tourism and Creative Studies, we would like to take the time to thank you for being here today and telling us to break out of our shells, not to be shy, because that does not going to work. Imploring us to make our mark, and most importantly, aspiring to inspire before we expire. I would like to give you this token as a symbol of our appreciation for being here today, and may God bless you.
Nikolai Clark, Miss St. Croix.
Miss Sandra, on behalf of the Faculty of Hospitality, Tourism and Creative Studies, I would like to give you this gift to show our appreciation for taking time out of your schedule, whether it was busy or not, because we appreciate any time you could have given to us, imparted the knowledge that you did. We are thankful for you and your business for providing jobs for those in need and beautifying our country. We hope that you will accept it and like it.
We will now have our vote of thanks by Daniel Bowen.
The Honorable Edmund Bartley, CD, MP, Minister of Tourism, Vice Principal, presenters, and members of staff, and my fellow batchmates, a pleasant afternoon to you all. It is an honor and a privilege to express appreciation to all persons who have contributed to the success of this evening's event, Hospitality Seminar 2020. Whether physically present or virtually due to known circumstances. Your involvement today has left a positive impact on all our lives, and for that we're truly grateful. I want to thank our moderator for today's event, Courtney Bent, secondly, Tevon Walker, Annalise Anderson, Iman Wallace, and Rihanna Roberts for introducing our guest speakers. Thirdly, I want to thank Lisa Leslie, Nikolai Clark, and Janae Stewart for such performance. Last but not least, I want to say a hearty thank you to our lecturer, Mrs. Dr. Small, who coined the assignment and guided us quite patiently and professionally through the entire process of planning, organizing, and executing this momentous event. I can safely say all our efforts and hard work have added to the success of this hospitality tourism seminar, defining our roles as stakeholders 2020. On behalf of the first year students of the Faculty of Hospitality, Tourism and Creative Study, I thank you.
Well, we have come to the end of our seminar. It was a very long one, very interesting. I'd like to thank everyone who made this happen, my peers, guest speakers, my lecturers, vice principal, and the entire institution. Thank you. We are offering refreshments down the hall to the left, and that is the end of the seminar.